Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me will be Jules and Robert. Thank you for joining the show. We have a special guest also, pound-for-pound fighter, Sergey Kovalev. How's it going, guys?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing good.
Thank you for coming on the show. We definitely appreciate it. Want to get into some kind of get-to-know-you questions before we get into the real meat of here. Can you tell me kind of who inspired you as a young Russian growing up?
Сергей?
Да.
Да. Ты слышал вопрос?
Yes. What's the question?
Can you please repeat, sir?
Sure. Before we get into kind of the meat of the interview, I was wondering kind of who inspired you growing up.
Так, переведи, да, пожалуйста.
Как ты думал прийти к боксу?
You know, like I just fight. I really love to fight on the street. You know, when I grew up, and very close from my house, from my building when I live, was a boxing gym. You know, and I didn't know about this. You know, and my classmate one day invited me in this boxing gym, like just try to boxing, and after this I started to do boxing.
Okay, interesting. I also kind of wanted to get your feedback on Andre Ward's retirement. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, like I'm really happy that I'm really happy that I got again opportunity to fight for the title, and right now few titles are located, you know, and this very good for the boxing. In our division will be new champions, and someday we can do unification fights again, you know. But Andre Ward, he's a boring fighter, you know, like, and right now boxing fans should to see much more interesting fights, you know, like, and I will try to I will try to do everything to give for the boxing fans interesting fights.
Well, you never really failed to do that. I mean, all your fights have really been interesting so far. Now, with the first Andre Ward fight, we definitely believe that you won that first fight. There's the majority, I would say, of media saw you win in the first fight. The look on Andre Ward's face at the end of the first fight even made me believe that he thought that you won that first fight. The second fight, obviously, he was hitting you a little bit low, but he ended up with the pound-for-pound accolades. People were putting him on as number one. But honestly, a lot of other people thought that you should be number one. Do you think you deserve that number one spot, pound-for-pound?
You know, yes, I know that, and everybody knows that I won the first fight, and second fight was crazy stoppage, you know, like, yes, I looked very, very bad in the second fight, but I don't know what happened with me exactly, like 5 minutes before when I got into the ring, you know, like, and but I don't feel that I nervous a lot or something, you know, something wrong was with my body. As I got something like maybe, you know, like drunk, wrong water or something, you know, like, But what happened is happened. It's already history. Right now, I'm looking forward to get one of my belts in my next fight, November 25 against Slava Shabransky. WBO title was my first belt in my boxing career, and I want to repeat my my success, in the second second opportunity. This opportunity very great for me, and God bless me and gave this opportunity to be champion again. I'm very happy. New chapter in my boxing career.
Looking forward to watch that chapter. I'm going to go ahead and actually hand you off to another writer. His name is Jules. He has some questions for you as well. Jules, whenever you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready, Lucas. First and foremost, Sergey, thank you once again for taking this time out of your schedule to speak with Heavy Bag Boxing. We greatly appreciate it. I wanted to ask you in terms of your upcoming fight that's coming up Thanksgiving week here in the U.S. against Shabransky. What threats, if any, that you see that he may pose to you in the ring? Do you see any threats that make him a dangerous opponent to you?
I didn't understand 100% your question. Sorry.
Он сказал что-то плохо, там, типа, он испугался тебя, типа, что он сказал, типа, я буду выиграть бой, там будет легкий бой, например.
Slava Shabransky is dangerous, will be dangerous fighter November 25 because he's very motivated right now. This fight is gonna be for WBO title. He never been champion. He nothing to lose. He's just going to like a warrior into the ring. And he's gonna be dangerous, I should be careful and should be ready for anything that he will offer, inside the ring.
Now, in terms of you making a statement against Shabransky, obviously with the recent defeats, to Ward, obviously your only 2 defeats. Do you feel you need to make a statement against him?
No, I'm not going to make any statements. I just wanna show you, boxing fans, quality boxing, and how I can to fight. We can see everybody November 25. I know only one thing, that this fight for me will be one of the best fights in my career.
In terms of, your next chapter, I know you mentioned that, and, us as boxing fans, we're looking forward to seeing that as well. Do you, are you looking to be undisputed light heavyweight champion again?
Yes, I want it, and I'm ready. Right now, I reloaded, my mentally, my body, my psychology. I'm ready to be great champion again. I'm ready to fighting around 3 years more.
And we're looking forward to seeing that. And, one thing, Kovalev, you honestly said that, obviously said that you're looking for, a next chapter in your life. Who do you see yourself fighting against in the future? And if Ward was not to stay retired, would you look to get another shot at him as well?
I never avoid any boxers, I never avoid any fighters, and just who promoters offer me to fight, I sign it. I signed this contract and fighting, and I'm ready to fight anybody in the boxing, because this is boxing, and the first for me, but not a business. It's the most fighter boxing. Professional boxing is the business right now. is the wrong thing, is the wrong for the boxing. I'm professional boxer, and I'm ready to fight anybody for the titles and for the unification fight. Let's see what happens November 25. I'm interested, to see my future career, how is it going.
Wonderful, Sergey. Well, listen, on the behalf of Heavyweight Boxing, we're looking forward to the next chapter with your fight coming up November 25th, and we are definitely looking forward to that. I'm actually going to pass you to another writer, Rob. He's actually going to have a few more questions for you as well. Rob, whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jules. Sergey, first and foremost, are you anxious to get back in the ring now, finally, after going through the ward fights? How anxious are you getting back in the ring?
Yes, I'm already missed to fight, and I'm waiting November 25th to get into the ring and get one of my belts back, But I'm very happy for this opportunity.
Right. And one of the things that I was wondering, there's been some talk about your trainer going into this fight. Who are you training with now?
Right now, I'm working with Uzbekistan coach Adrian Granados. He's an amateur coach, but right now he's just started working with a professional coach with professional fighters. I'm the first his professional fighter. First his guy, Olympic champion Faizidin Gabe Nazarov, turned to pro this year or last year probably, and I believe that he turned to pro last year, and I'm the second fighter like a pro, and I'm very happy to work with him. Very comfortable, and I mean comfortable. Why? Comfortable because he gives me very interesting workout. He understands what he's doing. We discuss about any tactics, for our future fights, and I'm very happy to work with him, and result we will see November 25.
Okay, that's real good to hear. So, have you completely wiped out your old camp, or are you still training with some of the other people that you had trained with prior to this fight?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Все такие самые, все команды поменял, что все такие самые, или что новый пришел в новую команду?
No, I just changed it. I just changed coach, head coach, and also I working with conditioning coach Alexander Sidov from Russia. He helped me already for last fight, and right now he started to help me earlier, than last fight, and we made with him very great training camp in the mountains for physical and conditioning. I'm feeling good right now, and I'm interested, what is my shape, and but we can check my shape November 25.
Okay. So, with all that being said, is there any new wrinkles or anything that you're going to show us in this fight?
Sorry, guys. Could you repeat again your question, please?
Oh yeah. Is there anything new that you're going to be able to show us in this fight? Any new wrinkles or anything that you guys been working on that we haven't seen before?
Что-то новое будешь показывать на этот бой?
Like it's the most important. Don't show you something false what I had in my last fight. Two last fights. I just should be same Krusher when I was before Chilembo fight. All my problems started with the Chilembo fight, But right now, I cleaning up my body, I cleaning up my mentally, I cleaning up everything, and right now working and focus on November 25. You're gonna see back of Krusher.
That's good to hear. So my last question then for you would be, with what happened in your previous fights, do you believe that the way boxing is set up now, do you think that the judges and the referees kind of cater toward boxers more than fighters? Kind of like the Ward style, kind of Mayweather style, more than your style?
Что за вопрос?
Подожди немножко. Как судья лучше нравится, какие боксеры лучше нравятся, такие как Мейвезер и Ворд, или такой как тот, кто идет вперед и знаешь, у кого есть удары. Интересны такие боксеры.
I'm not a referee, I'm not judge, I'm a boxer. I don't know which boxers like to the referee or any judges. Any judges, and would like to get a fair and right decision to this guy who deserve 100% victory, in each fight. Because when wrong stoppage or wrong decisions makes very very bad for each person of boxers, and breaking some plans or something, some future of any boxers, it should be, I think so, it should be 100% fair and honestly. I respect any judges, and I believe that in the future I will be under right decision of the judges in any referee. Sorry for my English.
Oh no, great answer. I definitely appreciate it. That's all I had for you. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to Jules or Lucas. Go ahead, guys. Thank you, Kovalev.
Thank you very much.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on, Kovalev, and looking forward to watching your return on the 25th.
Thank you very much for your attention to everyone.
All right, Jules and Rob, really good interview. I know I'd hate to be Shabronsky.
Yeah, you'll be both.
Yeah.
Sounds like definitely in the right frame of mind, and definitely sounds like the Krusher's going to come back. You guys expecting a big knockout come the 25th?
Yeah, it's going to be a short fight. I think it'll be a real short fight.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you too, Rob. I think that unless, Kovalev says he wants to get some rounds in, which I doubt. I mean, I think he wants to make a statement, once again. He lost. He was stopped, but by Ward in his last fight. And I think that he wants to, basically bring back that aura of the Krusher. Before the Ward fights, Sergey had this aura of being a destroyer. And I think that aura kind of decreased, with the two Ward fights. And I think, unfortunately, with Savansky, unfortunately, he's going to be that sacrificial lamb for people to say Kovalev still has that thunderous power.
Right. But I do want to add the most interesting fact in this, and I hate to bring it up, but the issue with the trainer. He's being quoted in other websites as saying he doesn't feel that he really even needed a trainer going into his career further. I like the fact that he's giving this guy a shot. I like the fact that, he has comfortability with this guy and he feels more comfortable. I don't know what happened with David Jackson. I mean, remember, this is a guy that took him into the gym unwillingly and made him into, you can't really say he made him into the star he is, but he coached him into this big star that he is today. So I just find that interesting right there that he's taking on a brand new trainer, virtually unknown to any of us or the boxing world, But I'm definitely interested in seeing that, what new wrinkles and stuff like that can put in it. And I'm really glad to hear about his conditioning, the way that he's going about that.
Well, to play devil's advocate, I mean, I don't know if he necessarily needs a trainer, and I'm not going to say John David Jackson really, made him into who he is. I think Kovalev was who he was before.
I don't want to say that. Trust me, I definitely don't want to say that. I mean, he coached.
One to clarify.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, honestly, at a veteran stage, I think you need more of that, just that person with moral support, someone to just keep you on the straight and narrow as far as your diet and your exercising goes, someone to keep you honest, basically. You don't necessarily have to have a trainer, and I think he will be just fine without it. I mean, it honestly depends on the fighter and their relationship. It sounded like towards the end, the second Andre Ward fight, I know there was a lot of controversy between him and John David Jackson. Nobody ever really got to the bottom of it. But it may actually be better for Sergey to actually have that part of his life be over with. I mean, especially if it was a lot of controversy and back and forth with John David. It's good that he has that over with and has that behind him now. So now, guys, we got a big weekend of boxing. It's been a little slow lately for the sport, but it seems to be picking back up.
Yeah, I mean, we have a great fight planned in December. Not to look past these fights this weekend, but I just think that in these fights coming up this weekend, just like the last set of fights we had, I really don't see any upsets on any card here. I see some good matchups and everything, but I really see, Wilder going through Stavern, and I see Porter going through Granados. I really don't see it being a big weekend that's going to showcase a lot of competition.
You just ran through our list, man. You weren't supposed to give out predictions just yet.
I haven't. I'm not really predicting anything.
You just said your predictions, son.
Rob says, let's get this out of the way right now.
Yeah, I guess we don't have a show anymore. It's over. Rob. Let's revisit that though, there, Rob. Also on the undercard for Showtime, I'm not even sure if this is going to be televised, but we do have Dominic Brazil taking on Eric Molina. That'll be an exciting fight. I think it's TV worthy. Whether it'll be aired or not,
I think it is.
I'm thinking no. Is it?
Yeah, I think it is, because Brazil was supposed to fight Stavern on the main card on television.
Okay, great. I'm glad to hear
it may not. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I know that Brazil and Stavern was supposed to be televised.
Mm-hmm. We got 2 title fights, but let's go back to Shawn Porter versus Granados, guys. I'm going to talk about that one a little bit more in detail. Okay. Now, Jules and Rob, whoever wants to take this, we saw Adrian Granados take on Bronner. A lot of people believe Granados won. It was definitely a close fight. Granados, of course, not with the backing of a huge promoter. ended up with the loss. But is Shawn Porter not a better style for Granados than Bronner was?
That's a good question.
I'll take this one. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel that this fight, and no disrespect to Granados, I feel like this is a fight to make Shawn Porter look good because Shawn Porter really has, in my opinion, the strength and the size advantage. And Granados is not a mover or a boxer. So, Granados is going to be, right in front of him. And in my opinion, I think Shawn Porter is going to beat Granados. Would I think it would be a competitive fight? I do think so. I think it would be competitive because Granados has a lot of heart and a really good chin. But I think in terms of, the strength and the size, I have to give it to Porter. And I think that's going to overwhelm Granados eventually in the later rounds.
Okay.
Rob, you agree with that?
I agree with what Jules is saying, but my issue is that Broner is a dud. I hate to call him out like this on the radio, but to me, Broner is a dud. Porter's the real deal. Porter doesn't play in the ring. He's all about business when he's in there, and he puts up a lot of pressure. And Granados, the thing I disagree with what Jules is saying is I agree he has heart. As far as the chin goes, he's been down several times in fights. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm not questioning that. I just question the difference between chin and heart there. I think if you get hit on the chin and take a knee, to me, your chin might be a little questionable, but he does have a lot of heart. The issue here is that I don't think that, I think he'll be able to get off the canvas, but how many times can he do that? Because Shawn Porter is going to pressure him all night, and he's going to give him different looks that Broner doesn't do, and he's going to let his hands go. And that's the main issue right now with Adrian Broner. If you look at what's wrong with Adrian Broner is he doesn't let his hands go, he's not willing to engage. And Shawn Porter not only is willing to do both, he's willing to take charge. And that's the difference in this fight, the big difference in this fight. So I really think that's the biggest advantage to me. I think it'll be competitive, but again, for how long? I don't think it'll go the distance.
And this is what I think a lot of people are maybe misinformed. I mean, you're right. He does have heart, but he does have one hell of a chin. I mean, it's not that you get dropped; it's that you get back up. We all know Granados has an extensive record, right? I mean, a very deceptive one at that. Yes, it's 18-5-2, but he has faced some big names. And you may be surprised, I don't know, maybe you're not, but he has not lost any of those by knockout. Not one. He gets up, and he finishes a fight. Now, to me, he competed with Broner. I think he edged it out. Maybe even a draw. It was a very close fight. And I think Porter maybe even played more into his stylistically than Broner did. However, the only question now is can Granados get and keep him honest with his own power? Can you keep him away and back him up when he
You already know the answer to that, though.
I think he can.
You think he can?
I think
I say no.
You don't think he can keep Porter off of him?
I say no, and it's an emphatic no to me. For me,
we see differently. I don't know. Jules, how do you?
No, I mean it's a valid point though. It's a valid argument. I agree with you. It's a valid argument, but I don't think he can. I don't think he'll be able to keep Porter off of him. I don't think Keith Thurman kept Porter off of him enough, and that's why that fight was so close. And if Keith can't keep him off of him enough, then Granados to me cannot.
You're forgetting something. Broner put him down.
Porter, yeah, correct. But that's my issue with Broner is he does not let his hands go enough to do that. So when he does, Broner has the power and he has the skill to do that. But if you're going to just bring it with one punch and catch him off guard because you haven't been throwing punches the whole fight, yeah, Broner can knock him down. That's my argument there, in my opinion. And Granados is going to let his hands go, but he doesn't have the power to keep him off of him. That's my opinion. Sorry, Jules, chime in here any second, Jules, any moment.
Granados, so you're saying Granados' power is overrated? I mean, he is a volume puncher, so he's not going to come at Porter like Broner did, you know?
I don't think Granados is overrated. If anything, he is underrated. I definitely agree with you about him being underrated. But I think that his heart in this fight, as far as the matchup goes, gets him in trouble. Because to me, he doesn't have the power to keep Porter off of him. And he's going to come with the heart and everything there. He might get knocked down once. He might get knocked down twice. But the pressure is still going to keep coming, and he's going to eventually succumb to that pressure before 10 rounds or 12.
And also, let's also take it to consideration that Porter, man, has a really good chin. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I felt like he really took some bombs from Thurman, and you know, he just kept coming. And I mean, I feel if Thurman couldn't really keep Porter off him, I don't see Granados doing it. I mean, we can all agree, that's no disrespect to Granados, that Granados is not a bigger puncher than Thurman. You know, so my thing about it is that I just don't see, as you said, Rob, Granados being able to keep Porter off him. I just don't see it, and that's going to be the problem. You know, between Porter's ridiculous strength and conditioning, and once again, in terms of skill level, I don't think that Porter is all that higher than Granados in terms of skill. You know, I never thought Porter was this phenomenal boxer. You know what I mean? That you're like, oh my God, did you see the way Porter looked last night? Like, nobody really says that, but it's always been his strength, his conditioning, his will to win, and his really, really good chin that has allowed him to win fights.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that he did look great in the Alexander fight, though. I really think that was a fight everybody talked about Shawn Porter after he beat Alexander.
Yeah, that too, and Kell Brook.
But Kell Brook, to me, more, it wasn't something where it wasn't definitive. I think it was more definitive when he beat Alexander. You know, I think it was more definitive when he did that. When he beat Broner, it really looked like Broner beat himself more than it did Shawn Porter beat Broner.
Right.
And then, of course, when he fought Keith, then it was a very close fight. But Shawn didn't do anything different. And if you're going to give Keith that same look and he knows what's coming, that's how Keith was able to dictate and win that fight, in my opinion. This one is a little different, being that Granados knows he's going to have to take heat, knows he's going to have to take pressure, and he's going to try to use his chin and his heart and punches to try to offset that. And I just don't see Granados beating the guy to do that.
Honestly, it's going to be a great fight regardless. This one is going to be something that is highly watched because I'm a little upset that it's not on national TV like a Fox or something like that on a PBC, because honestly it would get a lot of views. I mean, this is going to be one, there's a lot of trading, definitely a fan-friendly fight. The one thing I don't want to see, and the one thing that where this fight can go south, is that if it is a close fight. Because if it's a close fight, we know what's going to happen.
You got to go to the judges.
Well, no, not even that. But how are the judges going to score it? That's my question and my doubt. For all of boxing, the guy with a big promoter usually gets that bump. So I can say ahead of time, before the fight even goes down, that if it's a close fight, unfortunately Granados loses.
Well, most definitely. We know that if Adelaide Bird gets the assignment, it'll be 118-110.
All right, Jules, I'm mad at you for that. Chicago. That's too soon.
Even in Chicago, that's what would happen. And no, it's not. Adelaide Bird, man, we're it's not too soon.
That's too soon. It's too soon, Jules.
I had to do it. I'm sorry. I had to do it before the new year before the year ended.
It's too soon.
All right, guys. Let's talk about Bermain Stavern for you in the show. I want to dive into a little bit deeper. I know we had Bermain Stavern on the show. He definitely seems, reinvigorated and motivated to win. But what are his chances really like, guys?
So, I don't want to get on a rant tonight. I really don't. But I feel like I'm beating a dead horse when it comes to Deontay Wilder. The man is very talented, but he's also dedicated. He's dedicated to the sport, and he is very powerful. Now, the first fight looked a little different, but there were different variables in that fight. Being that I understand that Stavern is saying that he wasn't 100%, and he sure didn't look it, but he looked like coming into the fight he was ready to go. And Wilder was able to offset that. I also think that Wilder wasn't 100% talent-wise going into that fight, being that was his biggest fight up to that point in his career. I think he's gotten way more confidence since then. He's learned how to put guys away, especially guys that are tougher, that don't want to be put away, like Spazilka. Spazilka is a tough heavyweight. And he
Wait.
bombs.
Wait. Did you just say Spazilka's tougher than Stavern, though?
Not tougher, in my opinion, just as tough. I see Spazilka, Stavern on similar type of level.
Okay.
Now, you disagree with me, Lucas. You disagree with me heavily because you're looking at their records. Am I right?
Well, I mean, if you're comparing fights with Wilder, Spazilka did an amazing job. Like, I thought he was actually outboxing him in parts.
He did.
Until the knockout.
Correct.
So.
Yeah,
Stavern
he got
stayed
knocked
on his feet.
Yeah,
even when he was
Stavern
sick.
stayed on his feet for 12 rounds. It was a
Correct.
huge.
Stavern's the only man to be able to stay up with him for 12 rounds. So to call him as tough
But
as...
that was earlier than...
Spazilka. I like Spazilka. I think he has an awesome style, and he surprised me with how he fought Wilder. But to say he's tougher when Stavern was able to last all 12 and be the only one to do so, that's overstepping a boundary for me.
So what my point is, sorry, Jules, let me get this. What my point is, because back to what my point is that you're right. He played Wilder tough, just like Stavern played Wilder tough. But Wilder got through it and he knocked him out. So he has that experience under his belt because of fights like that now. So now going into this fight, he's already learned that. He's already been through that type of fight. So when he faces Stavern, he's going to know how to put him away and win. That's how I feel about it. Now, we can argue all day whether Spazilka is tougher than Stavern. The records show otherwise. I agree. But Wilder, in my opinion, is way above Stavern's level. And he's going to show it in this fight. He's going to be able to put him away just like he learned against fighting guys like Spazilka. That's what my argument is.
Jules, what were you going to say?
I think, Rob, you made a point in terms of Wilder being above Stavern because only for the fact that Stavern has been so inactive for, 3 years? I think he only had one fight in,
He's been inactive.
You know what I mean? In like a 2-3 year span. And I think that's really, really going to hurt him. I think it would have been a much closer fight, or at least a more competitive fight if the rematch happened, you know what I mean, right after they fought the first time. But, he's been inactive and even, the last fight that he had, it was a pretty tough win that he had to get. So I think right now it's tough. I mean, once again, sometimes fighters do well when they take a break, but 3 years is a long time, especially for a heavyweight. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be a tough call.
Things that you said right there is that Staverne's been inactive, so that is going to definitely play a part of it. But he wasn't 100% according to him. He was deathly ill during the first fight, and he lasted 12 rounds.
Oh, absolutely.
So the point I'm trying to make
I'm not saying that he wasn't. Right, go ahead.
No, you're right, Jules. You're right. But the point I'm trying to make here is at less than, what did he tell us? He was at 30%, I believe. Lucas, don't quote me on that, but if you roll the tape, I believe that's what he said was more like he felt like he was at 30%. So him being off for so long, kind of same situation. So you would think at least he would be able to compete, if not more, because he's not ill this time. He's just a little rusty. And my point of it is I just think that's not going to matter to Wilder. Wilder is, to me, more talented, and it's going to show, and he's going to be able to get him out of there. Now, it's not going to be an early stoppage, but I think he can get him out there in the late rounds.
Yeah.
To me, it's not even a matter of power or boxing ability. To me, the reason I see Wilder with an edge is simply for his physical attributes, his height and his range.
Yeah, you're right.
Mainly because I believe if Stiverne could get inside on a normal basis, Stiverne can win. However, Wilder was able to keep him at range a lot. But when Stiverne was able to get in, he actually was able to hurt and land some effective punches against Wilder, specifically the left hook.
The left hook, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it's something that we saw a lot, and I really, truly believe if you shrunk his arms and Wilder down to match the same attributes that Stiverne is, Stiverne wins. But you don't do that. That's not the way, that's not possible. But if you did, I think Stiverne wins.
Right, and then don't forget that jab.
True, it is a good jab. But let's go back, because I'm going to go ahead and go back to the actual predictions now. It sounds like you guys are both picking Granados to lose. So Porter win. Now, Jules, are you saying Porter by KO, Porter by decision? How do you see it?
No, I'm definitely saying Porter by decision. I don't see it. I don't see him knocking out Granados. I think it will be. I think that Granados will lose, in my opinion, by unanimous decision. But I don't see him getting knocked out.
And Rob, same thing.
And I'm glad you said that, Jules. I'm glad you said that, Jules, and you're absolutely right, Lucas. I see a stoppage. I see a stoppage. I think it'll be mid rounds or late, but I think that he'll stop him.
I like Porter. I think he's a good fighter. I don't think he has the kind of power that maybe you think he does, Rob. I think he's mainly just a aggressive fighter. I really don't see a knockout or even maybe a stoppage. Granados is too tough for that. I think it's going to be a close fight, a lot closer again than most people are thinking or predicting. And again, Granados is going to get scorecards that definitely do not reflect a close fight, as what happens usually in the past. And, it's going to have to be like a meme for Granados. The fights have to end like a meme. He has to get a stoppage. He has to get a KO against these bigger names. He's going to get screwed. Now, on to maybe not even screwed, but it's going to be a good close fight. And Porter wins by decision.
That's what he really wanted to say, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't mean that there's corruption in boxing and all of that. He meant to say was it's going to be a tough, close fight. But Porter gets the decision.
I don't have to say that there's corruption in boxing. I think everybody knows that. Anybody that's ever watched a fight. But,
how dare you, Lucas? How dare you?
Right. Thank you. Jules. Too soon, Jules.
Hey, look, I've been ringside. And seen a guy unconscious win a fight.
I know this. I know what you're going to say.
That's a thrown fight.
We don't. we shouldn't bring that event up because that's literally local politics in Chicago, Illinois. That's really what that is.
I didn't say any names, so. But
no
we're
names. No names.
We're not gonna go there. But regardless, I want to go on now and say that Wilder is going to win, not by KO. It's going to be by decision. Could knock him out before. I don't see him knocking out now, especially if him being more close to 100%. But guys, obviously, it sounds like you're both picking Wilder. But how are you seeing it?
You know, I respect you for that call right there, Lucas. I really do respect you for that call. He's been on our show. He needs his respect for that, and I appreciate him definitely coming on our show and everything like that. That's a respect call right there to me. I feel like you're respecting him enough to give him the 12 rounds, but he's not going to last the 12 rounds. There's no way to me he lasts 12 rounds with Deontay Wilder. There's too many issues there. There's too much rust that's going to come into play, and I don't really think that he's looked good in the fights previous to this one. I think he actually looked like he was a step below.
Jules?
Oh, gosh. As a man of Haitian descent, it's a tough one for me. I may have to go with Bermain Stavern by first round knockout. No.
Really,
gosh.
Jules? You want to bet on that one?
Oh, I didn't say I was going to bet on it. We're making predictions, not bets, Rob. This is not a gambling show.
I'll give you 101 odds on that if you do that. First round, no. First round. Do you want to take that?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I don't want to take that bet. I mean, you know what? I got to go with conventional wisdom. I mean, conventional wisdom system. That Wilder wins and wins. You know, once again, my big thing is the layoff. I think that, you know, layoffs really hurt fighters. It's an exception. You know, you have to be an exceptional fighter like a Floyd Mayweather where a 2-year layoff doesn't hurt you. You know, but when we're talking about the big boys where, you know, those punches, when they land, they hurt, you know, and you've been out of the ring for a few years, it's a tough call. And, you know, the reality is that, you know, Wilder, he's been active. He's been, you know, facing competition. And I got to go with – I don't think Wilder stops Stavern. I got to go with you, Lucas. I'm going with going with a 12-round decision. I feel like in the first fight – Stavern took Wilder's best shots. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, Stavern, I'm not going to say exposed Wilder, but he made us realize that, you know, Wilder has really won his fights on his athleticism. You know, granted, his power, he's got power, but he's really won his fights because he was more athletic than his opponents. And Stavern really walked through those shots. And when he walked through those shots, Wilder couldn't finish him.
That's a very valid point, Jules. Very valid. However, he's gotten more experience, though. Lucas, you don't think the man has looked better at all? You don't think he's gotten better as more experience came through?
Who, Wilder?
Yeah.
I see the same old Wilder, to be honest.
I knew you would say that. See, I knew he would say that.
I mean, we haven't really seen a big step up in competition like I'd like. You know, he hasn't had that kind of thrusting moment yet. And with him facing Stavern again, this will be a really good test. I mean, honestly, this may be the toughest fight that he's fought thus far.
Right, and it needs to be said with an asterisk behind it because Ortiz should have been in this fight. Now, I would have, y'all would laugh right now, but I might have called it differently if Ortiz was in this fight.
No, that's a very fair assessment. In my opinion, Ortiz, you know, would have been Wilder's greatest test in terms of not only a guy who can punch but who can box. I think that would have been a fight where, you know, Wilder would have really had to, you know, have had to dig deep because he would have had a guy who's not going to be able to stand in front of him, who can use angles. And, Wilder's athleticism would not be able to carry him. He would really have to dig deep to win that fight because Ortiz really is the better boxer than Wilder if you really look at it. But on the flip side, let's also give Wilder his credit. The man wanted to fight Ortiz. Ortiz is the one who tested positive for PED, not Wilder. You know what I mean? So we can't really even say it would have been different from Ortiz because Ortiz, we're seeing now, we don't know. I'm not saying that he's cheated his whole career, but once again, this is a massive bombshell. That he failed the drug test.
Lucas don't even want to comment on that part. You're absolutely right, Jules.
Drug test
to say that.
Legally, we try to stay away from.
Right, I knew he would say that. No, but
yeah, that's what I
have
want to go further. Yeah, I didn't want to go further into it.
Right, but I have to say this though: you can still agree to fight. You can still agree to the fight, drug test or not. You can still agree. It might not be sanctioned. There won't be no belt or anything on the line, but you can still agree to fight the man. And look at Povetkin I'm talking about. He still was allowed to fight even though he had 2 positive drug tests. Is what I'm talking about. That same night that he was scheduled to fight, he was allowed to fight. So he still could have agreed to fight Ortiz. The issue here is why not report, because it was a masking agent. It wasn't an actual HGH. It wasn't a PED or anything like that. It was a masking agent. So if you have high blood pressure and the commission says, what medicine are you on? And you say, I'm on this, and they say it's banned, and you say, I have high blood pressure. That's the end of the story. You know what I'm saying, guys? So that's the issue there is that there's too much in a short period of time to take in. Why he's hiding this, why he's taking this masking agent and all of that. There's too much in a small period of time to outweigh to go ahead with the fight.
I don't know. I mean, I see where you're coming from, and maybe we'll still get a bombshell fight with Severn Wilder too. We can hope for the best. But after this fight, the good news is there's fights out there for both guys. Wilder can move on and still have exciting fights, obviously. He's got Joshua. He's got other options out there.
Let me say this. Anthony Joshua, please stop being a punk. Please stop hiding behind your mandatories. It has to be addressed. Did you see the interview after the fight, though? Jules, back me up on this. Did you see the interview after the fight?
I did see the interview, but I'm not going to rush the judgment.
I worked too hard for these belts. I'm not willing to get rid of them. Man, come on, y'all. Screw those belts. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Screw those belts. Fight the man next year. Agree to the fight. Quit hiding behind your mandatories. That's my message to Joshua or any Anthony Joshua fan out there. I don't like the boy right now, and my dad is a huge Anthony Joshua fan. Look, quit hiding behind your mandatories.
Not necessarily hiding behind a mandatory. Mandatory literally means mandatory. Like, if you want to keep the belt.
No, it doesn't, though. No, it doesn't.
I respect it because, honestly, yes, a lot of those people don't want to see the mandatory fights. Some of those fights are against guys that you don't want to see. But you know what? I'm tired of these guys throwing away the belt and saying, screw it, I don't care. I'll just vacate it and then go win a fight just for some money. So I honestly respect the mandatory fights. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I see where some fans are coming from and that they don't like it. I see where you're coming from, Rob, but it's plain devil's advocate.
Okay, you're right. But no, you're right. But let me give you a different take on that. Why do you need to fight the mandatories right now? Why can't you have like Severn originally coming into this fight had to take money and agree And not everybody's going to agree to that. Your mandatory's not always going to take money and agree. Or, like in Joshua's case, I don't want to pay somebody who I know I can beat inside of 12 rounds money just to not take this fight so I don't have to vacate my belts to go to a bigger fight. I understand that completely. So these sanctioning bodies and everything need to step aside a fight or two to allow the best fight possible to happen before you make the guy fight their mandatory.
Yeah. I don't know. Just give him a little bit of a break. But what I was saying was Stiverne has other options too. It sounded like he has some beef with Big Baby Miller. Maybe we can see that fight.
I think that is going to be a nice fight. That's a fight I'm actually. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't be mad if Wilder says, you know what, let me get Big Baby out of the way, and then I'll fight Joshua. You know, because the reality is this. I know what you're saying, Rob. You're one of those guys who are, listen, I just want to see the best fights in best. But
well, we were talking about. I'm sorry,
that.
Jules, correct me if I'm wrong, Lucas, but you were talking about Stiverne, Big Baby, right?
I am. I'm talking about Stiverne, Big Baby, yes.
So Jules is jumping there and talking about Wilder, Big Baby, right, Jules?
You know what? I am. I mean, well, you know what?
Yeah, Stiverne, I would rather that fight than Stiverne. I agree with you, Jules. I'm sorry, Lucas.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. I'm glad that you clarified that. I mean, I'm one of those guys where, honestly, I would like, you know what, put it like this. I would like to see Big Baby fight the winner of Stiverne versus Wilder if we don't get, those guys don't fight Joshua next year. Because as I was saying, the boxing is a business. And, I think, Wilder and, Joshua and everybody in boxing has seen the amount of money that Mayweather versus Pacquiao made. And, those guys understand that they're in a position that they can milk this fight for a long time as long as they don't lose. So you figure that this may be a Pacquiao-Mayweather saga. I hope not. But those guys get 2-3 years of free publicity, you know what I mean, on ESPN. When's Joshua and Wilder going to fight? It'll be one of the biggest heavyweight fights of all time.
Definitely. And we're going to have to wait for it, I bet. I think they may go ahead and milk Joshua Wilder, but that's also saying that he gets past Stiverne, so we have to wait and see. But we are about out of time. Any other things you guys wanted to touch on?
Well, we didn't. Did we go over the HBO fights at all?
From last
week?
It
doesn't matter. What's up, Lucas?
You're talking about from last week?
Yeah, it's okay. We don't have to go back to that. It's okay.
Yeah, I think we just passed that up. Probably should have brought that up
I'm
earlier,
good on all
right?
that. But, no, you're good. I'm good on all that. I just want to say, like I've been saying on here, Jules, I love you. I love Syrian in the UK. I love all those guys in the UK. But Joshua, please stop hiding behind your mandatories. Please stop doing it. Don't do it. It's not a good look.
His name's Kyrian, by the way. But yeah.
No, I like Syrian better though. I really do like Syrian better. I like that better.
Well, I want to thank you, Rob, for coming on, Jules as well, and of course our special guest Sergey Kovalev. It's a great show. Thank you all for coming on, and definitely check us out again. This